Growing up in Paul, very different. I came from a middle class family, but our middle class wouldn't be considered middle class here. But in saying that, we're very happy people. I was born in Kathmandu, but I grew up in a place called Tamil, where all the tourists came and bought their camping gears and all the souvenirs. I miss Kathmandu and the rest of Nepal. I don't miss the new Kathmandu. It's too busy, too crowded, too polluted. There's too much going on. I'm a Newara and we're the indigenous people. For me, it feels like my home's been wrecked through not just westernization, but just too much happening there, too fast. Most people only know about Sir Edmund Hillary in Nepal actually. New Zealand, that was about it actually, to be honest. It's quite common for people from Nepal to go overseas. So I ended up in Sydney. While I was studying accounting, I was working as a kitchen hand for a Kiwi. He actually convinced me to change the path. And then I worked as a chef for 10 years. That's where I actually met my wife, Kerry. I took up the brush because at the time I needed something. I was working too much, partying too much, typical hospitality back then. I needed an escape. I do mostly abstract. I do landscapes, but I usually put a twist on it. Black and white portraits. Everything is just through experiment. I started dabbling with a bit of wood carving, bone carving, and then one day I was like, hey, just love to actually see how this whole tattoo thing works, and started practicing on fake skin. But then I read pig skin's actually the best. I made a mine from the village here. He was working as a butcher, so he'd supply me with heaps of pig skin. I kept practicing on it, did a couple of tattoos on my legs, and then started tattooing friends. It kept going, and I've got a good client base. I really enjoy it. It's quite therapeutic. Probably not for the clients, going through the pain. And I'm trying to sort of get a lot of my clients to actually go into the Nepalese designs because we have a rich culture. When we moved to New Zealand, the original plan was to move to Wellington. And just as we were stepping out of the plane, it was just like dust getting in our eyes. It was so windy and crazy, and then we kind of looked at each other and we kind of sort of did this, moving here. So we decided that we would actually move to Auckland. I ended up teaching level 4 and level 5 culinary arts and Manukau Institute of Technology. When we had enough of Auckland, we moved to Rotorua. Ran the cafe at the Polytech, and then eventually teaching culinary arts. It's one of the best jobs I've actually come across. It's not just about cooking, it's actually more life skills as well. It's amazing to see how their life gets turned around. Life in Mamaku is very quiet. One of the first memories I remember coming up here was actually seeing the rhododendrons, the flowers. It's actually the national flower in Nepal, and it reminded me of a little bit of time I spent with my grandma in the village. First few nights, it was scary how quiet it was. Now I love it. And the birds wake you up every morning as soon as the sun lights up. It's different, very different. But I'm home.